46th book that I read in 2024 was The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. I cannot believe that it took me 12 years to read this book. It's probably been on my summer reading list for the last 7 or 8 years. This was fascinating. This was wonderful. I loved this book. I flew through it. I can't wait to read the subsequent novels within the series. Um, I looked up the movie. I saw the movie when it came out, and I looked it up, and it's 2 hours and 22 minutes long, which really surprised me because I remember it being short. I remember getting to the end of The Hunger Games and thinking, oh, there's got to be so much more here than we're seeing, so much more in the book than we're seeing. And I'm not one of those people that think the book is always better than the movie because that's just simply not true. People who believe that haven't read very many books, I think. But this is definitely one where the printed page is much weightier than what we see on the screen, and that's because of its exploration, in my opinion, of commodification. You see this in the movie where Katniss gets these gifts from sponsors, and she's getting the gifts because she's playing up her role in the Hunger Games, which are televised to all of the country, right? To Pan Am. And that's so much more explored in this book. And you can see the influences of the Frankfurt School of Philosophy, of Theodore Adorno, of Walter Benjamin, of Horkheimer on Suzanne Collins as she wrote this book, and the commodification of killing, the commodification of murder, essentially, and its connection to money. And unfortunately, I think that has a lot to say about the world that we live in. This was a really good book, and I really like Harry Potter a lot, even though I'm not a fantasy fan. And I've never been able to articulate why Harry Potter is just better. It's just better than anything I read as a kid. I love the first Harry Potter. I've only read three of them. This book is similar to that, where I can't exactly articulate what makes this post apocalyptic novel stand out from others. Perhaps it's the philosophical underlaying, perhaps it's the flushing out of the minor characters, who all we get to know them very, very well. I think in subsequent novels we'll get to know them even more. Those that didn't die in the Hunger Games, at least. But really solid. I can't wait to read the second one. Last summer I spent time on the Maze Runners series, and I liked the first book a lot. The second one dropped a bit, and then the third one wasn't so hot. I don't think that's going to happen here. I think that this series is going to get better and better as I read through it. So, really looking forward to it. If you haven't read The Hunger Games, I highly recommend it. Very good book.